Yeah, so going out for a run, I think people think it's really simple, but also I think that's where a lot of the injuries come from, is just heading out the door and, going for race pace or sort of just setting off at the pace that you want to hit a run. I think every run, you've got to set starting at home, you can do some light mobility, you can do some simple exercises just to get the body moving before you go out the door. And I think that helps just prevent those initial tightness niggles that can become something over the course of a run. And I think it's something that a lot of people sort of neglect. I think
strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
It's easy to just put your trainers on and go, but those extra 5 minutes make a difference. Then once you're out the door, especially in the winter in the UK, you don't want to go out, max effort from out the door, or race pace or whatever it might be. So setting out a lot easier than your target pace on the run. That first 10 minutes doesn't have to be the pace of the entire run. You're going to get quicker naturally, normally through the run. So I think that first 10 minutes is a really good place just to sort of focus on setting up the rest of the session, with good form, and really focusing on, whether that's the armed carry or whether that's a specific sort of point that you have when you're running that you need to keep an eye on, sort of being mindful of that for the first 10 minutes and setting yourself up for the session. And then we move into the main set, and then there's so many elements, but like pace control is such a big thing to prevent injury. If a coach is telling you to go at 5 minutes per kilometre and you start running at 4 minutes, that's going to have a very different impact on the body and an overall load in the week. I think especially in our plans, I'm quite careful with the intensity control, and I think it only takes 3 or 4 runs of somebody going a bit too hard to throw that balance one way or the other. So I think that's a really crucial point of staying injury free, is just managing, not every session has to be a PB. It's about hitting the targets of the session and being clear on what that session is looking for, rather than just saying 5 times a week I'm going to go out and run a 5k PB, because you're going to plateau very quickly, and that's not sustainable. If you're aware of what drills and activations you should be doing, I think obviously there's a benefit to it. And obviously in our plan we obviously include that sort of stuff, what drills and activation exercises you can do, even if it's after the warm-up, before a main set, that sort of thing. But I think if it's going to be a badly executed drill that you don't know why you're doing it, I don't know if that has the same benefit. I think you've got to stay away from sort of guessing drills, because I think that can almost just make the issue worse. In that case, I would just then focus on form and feel like I'm running tall, and sort of just the simple things. Whereas if you know why you're doing a drill, and if your coach has given you some drills, I think they're really useful for injury prevention. But I think there's also that caveat of, if you're not quite sure, then just be careful of them. I think shoe choices has become a big topic recently, with carbon shoes especially. Personally, it's great to put on a pair of carbon shoes and feel amazing in your session. Everybody wants that feeling. Certainly for easy runs and even tempo runs, I would stay away from that carbon benefit. I think it changes the load. I could say, for some people it takes it off the calves, for some people it makes your calves feel more tighter afterwards. There's no one size fits all, but I just think for the easy and steadier runs, carbon isn't necessary, and it actually just gives you better lower sort of leg conditioning and that side of things running in a normal pair of trainers, if that's a thing. Obviously the faster stuff, if you want to put on a pair of carbon trainers and give it a go, then I think that's okay, once or twice a week. Again, I'm not sure it's necessary every week, because you're going to be putting in the same effort in a pair of normal trainers or carbon shoes. You're just going to be going 5-10 seconds, whatever it might be, quicker. And I think that's more an ego thing than actually it making too much difference to the session, because you're putting the same effort in. It's like using a disc wheel on a TT bike. It feels nice. And I think that there is an element of, you've got to get used to them before race day. So you obviously use them about 4 or 6 weeks out from a race for a few sessions and get used to them. But I don't think we need carbon shoes all year round, winter, spring, I think there is something that, people use because they feel like they're running faster. And actually I'd rather the injury prevention side of things and use a non-carbon pair of shoes until we get to that race specific phase.
You and me, let's fly away.